Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Beast World tonight. I'm Lexus Chan. It's my honor to be tonight's MC for you. Thank you so much for joining today's sharing. Before starting tonight's sharing, may I ask you some questions? Do you want the cell of your body, which is 5 to 20 years younger? And do you want to seem 5 to 10 years younger than your actual age? And do you want your liver, your blood, and colon to be clean and healthy? And do you want to have a strong immune system right now? And do you want to have an ideal weight of your body? I believe you want them all. But in the modern lifestyle, you need to deal with a lot of problems. So, for example, the safety of the food, such as toxic chemical, and the environment pollution, such as air, soil, and water, and the bad habits. For example, smoking, alcohol consumption, overeating. And also, you face stress, the stress about your work, your family, your relationship, and the money. And also your lifestyle. Some of you may lack of sleep and exercise. So if you continue in this manner, you might get premature aging and it will cause disease and eventually will kill you. So in current time, we'll always talk about detoxification. But detoxification is real or fake? This is a question. Now, let's invite an expert from Australia who have more than 30 years experience in anti-aging researching. And this gentleman is also a member of Beast World Smart Lab panel. So let's welcome Dr. Fernando Cortizo. Hello, Dr. Fernando.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Doctor.
Hi.
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Fernando. Thank you so much to take the time and to give the sharing tonight. And this week is very, very important. It's about the detoxification. So if all our audience who have some question during Dr. Fernando's sharing, please leave your question in YouTube. Then after Dr. Fernando sharing, we will have a question and answer session. Then we will pick some question to send to Dr. Fernando, and Dr. Fernando will help to answer all your question and give you more information. Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Fernando. We cannot wait anymore. Please start your sharing tonight about detoxification.
Thank you so much for inviting me tonight. I'm very, very happy to be here. Welcome, everyone. And I tell you that tonight we're going to be covering some really exciting information. I mean, at least it's exciting for those people who want to know about detoxification. Detoxification is a very, very controversial topic. And I'll explain to you why that is. We have realized for a long time now, after many years of work in this area, that detoxification is very much part of the aging process. And what we see is two different things. We see that the aging process increases or loses our ability to detoxify, and detoxification loss increases our aging. So it is, in fact, what we call a vicious circle. The more loss of detoxification, the more we age. The more we age, the more loss of detoxification. And I'm going to explain to you why this happens. I hope you can hear me well. I'm going to be sharing with you some two slides to help us to go through this process to understand what we are talking about. Now, detoxification often is a very controversial topic, as I said before. And people ask me consistently, is it real? Is it real? Is detoxification a real concept? Or is it just simply a marketing gimmick? And often people have concerns that when people talk about detoxification, they are talking about some imaginary thing, something that is not supported by science, something that is not supported by our clinical observations and personal observations. So I have to tell you that there are two very specific things about detoxification. Now, is detoxification real? Yes or no? The answer is absolutely real. Now, is the detoxification plan for a particular product in the market able to be of benefit? That's a different question. That's a different stories. And then I can tell you that there are many, many plans in the market, many detox, everything has a term detox, because people understand basically what the detox actually means. It means removing toxins from your body to assist you to sustain a healthy lifestyle, right? And so again, I'll tell you that the detoxification is absolutely, it's a real process. It's supported by science and by research over the last 150 years. Scientists, medical practitioners, doctors, professors have been working, trying to find a solution to increase detoxification because it's real. So let's talk about what is a toxin then. Often people ask me this question. So, doctor, what is this, a toxin? Is a toxin a bacteria? Is it a virus? What is it? So we will define toxin, and you will find these definitions on the internet. So please remember what I'm telling you. Don't believe everything you read in the internet, right? You need to have judgment for yourself. Even the very well-known and extensive websites, they talk with authority, and then we know that they don't really have the facts. So this is the idea. Now, what is a toxin? So a toxin we define as something that it is an element that can be produced internally in our bodies and which will lead to health issues. It will decline our health. So toxins are elements which are either artificial or they can be naturally produced, which actually will decrease your health status. Now, some of these toxins, now we understand, can come from outside, and they definitely come from outside. So toxins can have a source outside the body, and they can have a source inside your body as well. And then both of them have this specific impact, for example, of declining your health. Let me give you an example. For example, uric acid. Uric acid is very useful for the body. The body uses uric acid when it's produced internally for certain specific purposes. It uses uric acid to build certain types of tissue. However, when you produce too much uric acid, when your diet is not proper, and then you produce too much uric acid, this uric acid becomes a challenge to your system. Your body can no longer control the uric acid, so now it becomes a toxin because it accumulates in your joints, it accumulates in your tissue, especially in your kidneys, and it can cause long-term specific chronic kidney disease. So uric acid, a natural product, a natural compound, which is part of our natural biochemistry and mechanism in the body, can become a toxin itself. And other toxins are produced, for example, by oxygen. Believe it or not, oxygen is the essence of life. Oxygen is, in fact, one of the biggest producers of toxicity internally for our bodies. And oxygen, as we use oxygen, we produce free radicals, which actually have a very significant negative impact if not controlled properly. On the other hand, some of the free radicals can be used by the immune system to control certain types of cancers and certain types of infections. The excess of free radicals becomes a toxin for the body and leads to very significant damage. So free radicals cause damage to our tissues, to our organs, and to our body systems as well. So there you have it, two specific examples of products that are produced internally. And of course, all the external products that we see, we face, we will discuss in a minute. You can see that there are thousands and thousands of new chemicals introduced by industry in the environment every year. And then the body will consider many of these chemicals that come in plastics, in pollution, in the water, in the food, as a toxin in the future. Now, I have two slides that I want to show you for clarity. I needed to discuss with you how the toxins enter our body. So I'm going to share this myself. I haven't done this before, but I will try for you to make it look professional if possible. So you let me know. It's looking good now. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, now it's ready, Dr. Fernando.
Okay, very good. So there you go. So the process of detoxification it's very important. Now, let me tell you that the toxins enter the body through 3 specific mechanisms. There's only 3 ways plus 1 more. So 3 ways for the toxins to enter our bodies. First is the lungs. The lungs are a very important mechanism or vehicle by which, through our breathing and respiration, we introduce elements, toxins into our body. They are very effective in bringing the toxins and particles from the outside in direct contact with our bloodstream. The second mechanism is through our skin. You can see it here, right? The skin is a very permeable organism or structure. It actually allows flow inwards and outwards. So you can have outflow or inflow of elements from the environment, creams and other things into the body itself as well, and almost directly onto the bloodstream. It doesn't take very long for things to move from the skin into the bloodstream. It only takes a few minutes. And then we have the third mechanism, which is also extremely important, which is here is the gut and the intestine, or the gastrointestinal system, which is in fact 13 meters long. This is where you introduce everything that you eat or you drink into the environment, into your body. And so the food and the drinks that we consume become part of this process, whereby they being introduced internally into our body through the gut, they actually introduce toxicity into our bodies. Now, there is a 1/4 mechanism, which, but we're not going to discuss because it's very controversial, which is vaccines. So vaccines go directly into your body by injection, right? And so the vaccines, whether you believe in them or not, is not up to us to discuss now. However, vaccines carry with them many different things that people object to. People have concerns about things like mercury. You know, when I was young, that was a long, long time ago. You probably were not even born then. There was a lot of discussion about vaccine and the use of mercury as a preservative. So, but these days, vaccines are much better than they used to be, and of course, are safer than they used to be. So, vaccine is the other mechanism to introduce toxins into the body. So, keep that in mind, which is extremely important for the future, especially in the times of Corona and COVID-19, where people are discussing about whether they take vaccines or not. We are not going to discuss this now, but it's something that you need to understand and to be aware of. Now, remember, all the toxins that enter through the front environment, through these 3 mechanisms, lungs, skin, and the gut, they lead and go directly to the liver. So don't be mistaken. The liver is the essential part of the body that deals with detoxification. So the liver is the detox mechanism, the detox engine of the body. If your liver becomes compromised and you lose the activity of your liver, you don't have very long to live. People that have, as you know, develop liver cancer, they develop liver disease, cirrhosis, and other forms, especially hepatitis B, hepatitis in general, they can have a very short life if it's not resolved quickly, because the liver is essential for the preservation of life. Because the liver would actually, and I will explain to you how that happens in a minute, the liver will deal with the toxins and send the toxins from the liver itself into 4 different pathways. So how does the liver eliminate toxins? After the liver processes the toxin, once they've entered your body, it is actually sent through the skin, to the blood vessels. So the skin, through perspiration, becomes a very important structure for detoxification, right? So when you exercise and you sweat a lot, make sure you remove that sweat. Because if you don't remove it, it will actually be reabsorbed into the body. So it's extremely important. This is something that sometimes people don't think about it, or they already know. But as you sweat in exercise, the removal of the sweat is very critical, okay? Remember that sweat contains a lot of the processed toxins that are trying to be eliminated by the liver and by the body. Now, the next mechanism is the kidneys. You know, kidneys is extremely important because it actually is a filter. It's almost like the oil filter of your car, right? It will filter blood and it will release certain byproducts of activity, certain toxins. It will remove nitrogen in the form of uric acid. It will remove urea. A lot of the nitrogen that comes from protein metabolism are secreted through the kidneys. This is why when you're looking at your kidneys, you're actually looking at creatinine, right? And creatinine is in fact a carrier that shows you how much protein has been degraded by the body itself. And then it also gives you an indication of how much protein you've consumed, because the nitrogen from protein have to be removed from the body itself via the liver and via the kidneys. So anything that affects the kidney activity will also have a very fundamental impact on our bodies. Now, then we have the colon. So how it works, the liver processes some of these toxins and then it mixes the toxins with bile. And the bile gets released into the colon to form feces. And this is how the liver eliminates some of these toxins via the colon. Okay, the colon is very important in that function. It has to function properly. If it is constipated, it's a very, very serious risk, because constipation allows the toxins to remain internally in your body and have all types of effects in your health. So the colon function is very critical. Not only do you have to have a good liver, but you have to have a properly functioning colon to be able to remove the toxins that the liver is sending down your way to the gallbladder. So the gallbladder releases the bile mixes with the toxins, and then the bile and the toxins together, they gravitate to the liver and actually remove as feces, right? So feces are not necessarily what you call a clean element. Feces are in fact full in our day and age of medication, chemicals, and toxins as well. Okay, and the lungs are used as a mechanism to actually eliminate toxins much the same way. By respiration, by exhaling, you're actually removing a lot of droplets of water containing a lot of these toxins as well. So this is very important to be aware of, that when you are particularly ill or sick, you should really use a mask for a short time until you feel better, you feel well. But the lungs definitely are a way to detoxify. If you smoke heavily, which we see in Asia, unfortunately, our brothers and sisters in Asia continue to smoke, especially in certain countries where smoking is really a social norm, a social habit. And so smoking will affect your lungs, it will decrease your detoxification process, and it will actually impair your body to be able to relieve and to move toxins out of your body itself. So what happens then is that if your liver can handle the toxins, the toxins are released if your 4 mechanisms that we describe here are working properly. However, often what happens is there is an excess of toxins. The excess is very, very high. The liver cannot handle, doesn't have the capacity, the functionality to deal with these toxins. And so the excess toxins get stored in 2 different ways. And remember, there are 2 types of toxins, what we call fat-soluble toxins, toxins that can be soluble in fat, and then we have the water-soluble toxins. Now, both of those toxins go to different parts of the body. The excess toxins, they get concentrated in fat cells, so your fat tissue. When you're overweight, your fat cells are carrying toxins, heavy metals, different types of molecules that are in excess. So when you lose weight, you have to be careful, because as you lose weight, all these cells release the toxicity that is already accumulated in there. Now, remember, fat cells can be an exercise from the body to control and to localize these toxins. The body cannot handle them by removing them, but they can localize it and neutralize them. So they actually surround them by fat. Often it happens with bacteria. So this is why you see many of the cysts. For example, you see cysts that are growing on your body, in your back. They're like lumps of fat. And then when you touch them, they're very flexible and they move around a bit. So these fat cysts are in fact an attempt from the body to isolate probably bacteria or toxins, right? So by surrounding the bacteria or toxin with fat cells, you neutralize it. Now, the fat-soluble toxins can go into your bone marrow, in your liver, and into your central nervous system. Now, the water-soluble toxins can do a different job. For example, uric acid goes to your joints, okay? Free radicals go into the blood. Heavy metals go into the joints as well, into tissues, into muscles in general. So what we see is that accumulation of excess toxins causing side effects and signs of toxicity. So this is, in fact, the mechanism on how we can understand how toxins enter our body, go to the liver, are secreted, and the ones that are not secreted remain in our body and they accumulate in different parts. I hope it's not too complicated. I'm going to share another slide with you, and so that you can we can continue. So extremely important. Can you see this? Yes, you can see the next slide. Okay, let me see. I'm going to share it. Remember, I'm not an expert in this.
Yes, it's ready now.
Okay, so there we go. So what we see here is, in fact, I just want to spend another 5 minutes explaining to you how actually this how this works. And so remember, the liver is the key detoxification organ in the body. Now, most people don't understand this because they don't really know how the liver operates. But I will tell you, it's very simple. What you see here is that there are two phases of the liver, phase 1 and phase 2. Now, for many years, we have developed different tests with different organizations and laboratories to be able to give the patients and the doctors an idea of whether the liver function for detoxification is normal or not. And through various laboratories like ADL in America and PathLab in Australia and ABC in Australia and all the other labs and Greebles in Australia, we actually developed this program many years ago. And then what we can do is determine that is phase 1 and phase 2 operating properly. So this is what happens. I'll tell you very briefly. So there are two phases of detoxification in the liver. So if the toxins come into the liver and they're fat soluble, for example, and many of them are fat soluble, cannot be removed from the body by bloodstream. So the phase 1 will use chemical reactions, particular chemical reactions, to make the fat soluble toxins water soluble, right? You understand what I mean? So what we see is the phase 1 is a step that allows the fat soluble toxins to become solubilized, so they can be removed with the blood that is present in blood and the water present in our system. So these are fat soluble toxins, which are end products of oxygen, for example, uric acid, microorganisms, contaminants, insecticides, pesticides, food additives, drugs, alcohol also. Now, let me tell you what happens here. That phase 1 has to be in coordination, in harmony with phase 2. In other words, that the body is taking this toxin and turning the toxin into a free radical, okay? So the outcome of phase 1 is in fact a free radical, which is then transported to phase 2. It is further processed and then released as a water-soluble waste product and eliminated through the gallbladder, the stools, and to the kidneys and the urine. So there's a process. The toxins, which could be many of them, the majority of them, have to be worked upon, have to be processed by phase 1 of the liver. Then phase 2 has to pick them up and then further process them, making them water soluble. But in between phase 1 and phase 2, what you have, it is an accumulation of toxins that have been processed by phase 1 and have become free radicals. Now, let me tell you what we see often. We see that phase 1 and phase 2 are not coordinated out of out of synchronicity. They are not working together. For example, when you drink a lot of coffee, a lot of alcohol, a lot of smoking, and many other things, phase one becomes hyperactive. It works very hard to get rid of the coffee, for example. And so phase two has to be at the same level as phase one. If not, you will see accumulation of free radicals until phase two is able to remove them, okay? So one important part of liver health, of the health of the liver, is that phase one and phase two have to be coordinated and in synchronicity. So once that happens, phase two will actually take all the waste products, the toxins that have been processed by the two different steps, and actually eliminate it, as we said before, to the gallbladder, mixed with bile, release into the stools to be released from the body. And or the bloodstream goes to the kidney filters these toxins into the urine and is eliminated by urine. Okay, so this is in fact how liver function actually operates in a nutshell. If you want to talk about this more, we can do a special 2-hour discussion in another time where we can actually look at the specific things that we can do to stimulate phase one and phase two. But with Isholution program, we find that phase one and phase two are in fact very well supported so that they can work in synchronicity and they can work together for a successful detoxification. So now let's go to continue with the rest. Right. Okay, so we were talking about how the liver processes detoxification, and we know that this is a fairly complex process, right? It's certainly a very important process. We know how toxins enter in our body, and we know the effect of toxins and then the mechanism that is necessary to be able to deal with it through the liver, okay? So often people ask me, so what are the effects of poor detoxification? What happens when your detoxification becomes compromised? And I can tell you that it is very specific. Over the years, we've known that through specific research, especially the research we've done on the correlation between obesity and aging, obesity and allergies and acne, obesity and joint pain, we have seen a relationship. We have looked at fatty liver, for example, which it's got nothing to do with obesity, but it can happen to very skinny people as well. So fatty liver itself is actually one of the mechanisms by which we see an increase in particular autoimmunity reactions. We see fibromyalgia, we see premature aging. Okay, so the side effects of poor detoxification are accelerated aging. One of the things we see is that poor detoxification causes aging. Aging increases the loss of detoxification by limiting the amount of blood that is going through the liver. So the liver pumps very significant levels of blood through itself to be able to detoxify. We have noticed, and we have measured this, that in fact, as you get older, the volume of blood that goes through the liver decreases by almost 30%. So poor detoxification caused by lifestyle, for example, as fatty liver, will actually decrease the volume of blood going through the liver itself and will lead to a much faster accelerated aging process. Other things that can happen is, apart from accelerated aging and fatty liver, hepatitis. We see that often in many countries. We see hepatitis A, especially B or C, can cause damage to the liver and cause compromised detoxification. We see cirrhosis or injuries to the liver, which actually caused by different mechanisms. It could be by accident, it could be physical trauma, it could be alcohol or drugs itself, right? So in conclusion, bad detoxification will lead to compromised health. And then what we see is, we see acne, allergies, joint pain, irritable bowel syndrome, we see autoimmunity, we see obesity, diabetes, we see weight gain, fibromyalgia, we see wrinkles, we see the kidneys overloaded, premature aging, we see this disease, and we see morbidity, and we see death as well. That's essentially what the research shows. Now, over the years, we have focused in looking at very specific morbidities which affect the population, such as increasing diabetes and fatty liver. And we know that specifically that the major cause of fatty liver, apart from lifestyle and diet, is in fact the loss of detoxification. And that has been done in several studies. Some of them have been published to the American Journal of Medicine. Some of them are published in Europe journals or Australian journals. And if you're interested in some details, please send me a request and I will send you the links directly so you can actually look at it yourself. We don't have a lot of time to discuss that at the moment. Now, all these things compromise detoxification, and we see that a compromised detoxification is an overriding, very common social problem these days. As we said before, and we repeat again, it's aging, bad nutrition, lower fiber diet, which has now become a major issue affecting our detox function and our gastrointestinal function, because the food that we eat is in fact is processed, is highly processed, and it carries very little fiber. So fiber is very essential for all of this, leading to very bad gastrointestinal health. Lack of exercise, sedentary lifestyle is what we see with people these days, diabetes, and a lot of alcohol consumption. Now, often when we go into the marketplace, we see a lot of these programs that are being presented as a solution for this decline in detoxification. So we see, I have seen so many different things that they're focused primarily on the colon. They don't focus on the liver. They don't focus on how to deal with liver function and how to increase detoxification in different ways. For example, they use magnesium oxide rectally in the colon, introduced rectally to remove what they say is toxins from the body. There's many other very intrusive, very aggressive, and very intrusive mechanisms, which personally I'm not in favor of. They are not really safe because they cause a lot of gastrointestinal issues over the months where you are using this particular form of detoxification. They can be very expensive, right? Extremely expensive also. And believe it or not, but some of the detoxification programs create high dependency so that people become dependent on them. Their body becomes dependent on them, so they can no longer have a bowel movement without this detoxification program, right? So there's a lot of concerns over the years. I've been asked to be to give my advice about the use of particular types of detoxification programs, and I always find that they are missing very important elements, and they are not safe. They're expensive, and they can cause issues for the user. So be careful what you use out there. It's not something that that should be used so willy-nilly, so easily, and so freely. These programs have to be further evaluated for safety and efficacy as well. Now, often people ask me, what is the safest and most effective way then? What would you use, right, to actually have a proper detoxification program? So I always say that the most significant thing is that if you cannot escape the toxins, which many of them we cannot escape, we have to have a body working in a particular way to be able to handle the detoxification process. More importantly, to support that liver function. Now, often when you use certain compounds to support the liver, it can be a two-edged sword. So I always focus on the right nutrition. I always focus on what elements that the body needs to take through nutrition that will facilitate detoxification. What makes detoxification easier to happen and to be more effective? And we know that working with fiber, for example, has been one of the most successful ways of dealing with the questions about detoxification. So over the years, specifically concentrating on obese teenagers and diabetes and the emergence of diabetes, we found that by using a good level of fiber in dietary programs, that we can stimulate the liver function to a much more successful level. We can actually create or recreate a proper gastrointestinal function. and which actually leads to a much more effective detoxification process. Better control of diabetes, better control of obesity in teenagers, and also better prevention for several diseases, especially cancer. So many of the research that was done over the years, starting about 30 years ago, was focusing on particular types of fibers, which actually we found were able to prevent in a large group of people, to prevent certain types of colon cancer. So by leading in that research, we found that using particular fibers can actually help people not to develop colon cancer. And so we reasoned then that by using that fiber as an approach, as a preventative approach, we can actually lead to better health for the individual and also improve detoxification, which was in fact the answer to that problem. So the significant research, my advice is that we target particular dietary programs and intakes of certain products, which actually will assist the liver function and will assist gastrointestinal function. So often people ask me a question, what is the most effective system? Which one? And I would say the one that doesn't concentrate on the symptoms. Any medical program, any nutritional program, any supplement that deals with symptoms is not worth the money, okay? So the most significant program that we have is a program that would actually concentrate addressing the actual causes of the loss of detoxification and not addressing the symptoms, right? And so that's why we concentrate in the Isholution program. The Isholution program concentrates specifically on the causes of the loss of detoxification. And I can guarantee you that, in fact, by doing specific investigations and research, we know that using a certain approach will give us better success. For example, the ISO dietary fruit juice that we would like to talk to you about tonight, in fact, works very much in that way. It has certain features that allows the dietary fruit juice to be greatly successful in supporting detoxification function. And these are, we call this the 3C of detoxification, which are cleanse the liver, cleanse the blood, and cleanse the colon. You saw before with the presentation that I showed you, is that the liver is critical, the blood is critical because it transfers all the toxins from the liver into the organs that will release it from the body, and the colon, which is one of the major vehicles of escape of these toxins and removal of these toxins. Now, the dietary fruit juice is a very interesting product. Now, over the years, I've actually looked at a multitude of these products. I've looked at very significant number of these products, and I tell you that this one brings together some very important and very unique properties which are worth considering and worth looking at. Now, the dietary fruit juice has a combination of tropical fruit juice powder, Pomanox or pomegranate powder, which is a very potent antioxidant. But more importantly, it has a combination of fibers of what I call the 3 specific types of fiber that we need for proper gastrointestinal function. Now, these fibers are sun fiber, fibersol, and we use psyllium husks together in a combination which allows the fiber to perform this function of stimulating detoxification successfully. Now, let me explain to you how this is. Fibers can be of 2 different forms. There's soluble fiber and there is an insoluble fiber. So you should have a little bit of both, a combination of soluble fiber and insoluble fiber, okay? Now, in the dietary fruit juice, we have sun fiber, which is water-soluble fiber, 100% water-soluble. We also have fibersol, which is also a low viscosity soluble dietary fiber, but is resistant to digestion. And so fibersol resists digestion. Therefore, it creates the bulk of fecal matter and allows for greater regularity. In other words, it will assist you in having a more regular gastrointestinal function and create fecal matter in a much more efficient way so that it can be released from the body and eliminate the problem with constipation. Now, psyllium husk is an amazing fiber which I always call the grandmother of all the fibers, and it's in fact the one that was originally researched in several studies. And one of the studies that we saw was how psyllium husk can actually restore gastrointestinal function by inducing the creation and the increase of the proper gastrointestinal cells on the lining of the intestinal system. So what psyllium husk does is, apart from creating fecal matter more efficiently, reducing absorption of sugar, allowing sugar to bypass the body and be released from feces, it also stimulates the gastrointestinal system in developing cells on the walls of the gastrointestinal system, which are actually healthy. And so in that regard, in that way, and in this mechanism, preventing many of the potential developments of colon cancer. So these three fibers are in fact what we call a multi-fiber source system, okay, which has very significant benefits. And the benefits are that they bring about a control of detoxification and increasing detoxification by increasing the function, I dare say, of the liver, by increasing the flow of toxins to the blood and the release of toxins from the blood, and also by restoring gastrointestinal function, which has in itself an extremely important and very successful mechanism to improve human health. In the future, we are going to be talking a lot more about this, because we know that the colon, it is the key to bringing about successful health for humans and individuals in the world. Now, we also have international certification, which shows that the multi-fiber source blend, as we call it, or the multi-fiber source system, which is the ISO system, it's free from heavy metals, free from bacteria, has very little or no gluten, and it is actually certified as having a very low GI. And the very low GI, glycemic index, is extremely important for diabetics, so it's diabetic friendly. So I will tell you that coming to the end, I don't want to extend this because it's going to go for too long, but I highly recommend the dietary fruit juice. It has everything that I think that I want to help people to restore gastrointestinal function, to improve detoxification. It's a very strong proponent, a very strong product to assist us in the quest for anti-aging strategies. It will help us by controlling detoxification to achieve our anti-aging targets and actually make our bodies to be and to function in a much younger way and a much better way than we are used to. So I highly recommend it. And please, if you have any questions, make sure that we have time, you make the time to send to us, to our guests, our hosts, and then we will actually provide you with the answers. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Fernando, for your today's sharing. So detoxification is really important, especially as Dr. Fernando mentioned, who have the bad habits. So it's also very important for the one who want to start the anti-aging, right? So please start now. Detoxification, very important. So now is the question and answer session. So I will pick some of the question and to ask Dr. Fernando. So let's see the first question. Okay. So first question. Okay. Why do detox needs cut out gluten? Wow, it's very specific. Okay. Please, Dr. Fernando.
So the question is, why detox?
Why do detoxification needs to cut out
gluten? Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, gluten has a has a long story. It's an amazing exposure in the marketplace. People have been talking about gluten for so many years. In fact, I have to tell you that myself, I was diagnosed with celiac disease when I was 1 year old, and then in those days, we didn't have anything like we have today to be able to understand what I was having. So I have chronic diarrhea, I had gastrointestinal pain, stomach pain, gas, you know, I was very sick boy. And so which is the only time I have ever been to a hospital. In fact, when I was 1 year old, but gluten was the key. And then what happens over the years now is that gluten has been shown to trigger particular autoimmunity and reactions in people. So there's a whole industry now that is geared to removing gluten from food, removing gluten from drinks, from food products, from flour. I mean, imagine. But let me tell you this. I have to warn you about this. So gluten is something that you should limit because a lot of people become very sensitive. Now, why they become sensitive to gluten is because gastrointestinal function is not longer what it used to be. So we have seen a decline in the function and the health of gastrointestinal system in people. We have. So you can see people becoming more allergic to almost everything. They're becoming allergic to rubber, to paper, to perfumes, and so on. So the gastrointestinal system is the learning center for the body. The body learns autoimmunity and immunity in general against everything by the gastrointestinal system. And gluten tends to disrupt this process. So it causes also all types of health issues, side effects. It causes diarrhea, it causes allergies, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. It causes all types of problems. Now, let me tell you something else. I have very interesting information. So I met with a group that was doing research in the US before on gluten. And what they told me is, and it actually was published, you need to find it. If you want me to find it, I'll find it for you, that in fact, it's not really gluten the one that causes the problem, but something else that is associated with gluten. So gluten is, is a mixture, is a protein that comes from flour products, right? It's present in some fruits as well. It's commonly distributed in nature, but it's particularly immunogenic, so it causes some reaction. But there is something else together with gluten, which doesn't separate in the preparation of gluten. It comes together with gluten, so it travels together hand by hand, and they believe that this is the one, the protein is the one that causes most of the effect of gluten. So gluten could be more than one protein. It could be 2 or 3 different proteins together, okay, in a bundle, which causes all the side effects. But definitely, it's very important because gluten, in fact, can cause a worsening of the loss of detoxification by causing irritability in the gastrointestinal system. So it actually shuts down your system. It shuts down your system to be able to deal with toxicity, right?
Okay. So it's very good that the Isholution, the ISO dietary fruity juice, we also get the certification. It's gluten-free. Yeah, yes. So it's very, very important. So you need to get more information from Dr. Fernando for this part. Yeah, so Isholution is good for you. Yeah, gluten-free. Okay, so let's pick the second question. Mm-hmm. Okay, what can we do to improve our detoxification? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's easy. I'll tell you what you need to do if you really want to improve detoxification and look young. If you want your skin to look young and to look particularly young with energy and vitality, number one, take ISO dietary fruit juice or the ISO program together with dietary fruit juice and the meal replacement program together, because that will assist that. In addition to that, you need to control stress. So you need to have good sleep, support your body natural system. So don't resist going to bed before 12 o'clock. Try to go to bed before 12, okay? Control your circadian rhythm, your sleep rhythm, okay? And eat nourishing foods, control the foods in balance, drink plenty of water, that's very important, and take care of course, of your happiness, your personal life, and your emotional needs. Now, when you bring it all together, you will have a fantastic detoxification. Now, another solution is, of course, is to move to another planet where you have no pollution. Like we can go to Mars with Elon Musk, and then we will find no pollution there. But who knows? We live in this planet, we live in this earth, and we are constantly under assault. So we have to do these things to maintain our detox.
Okay. So besides from all these, you need to leave out the bad manners, right? Bad habits, and also Isholution. The ISO dietary fruity juice will be also your solution, as Dr. Fernando sharing in this half hour. So very important for you to consume more ISO juice. Okay. So the third question. Okay. How does ISO dietary fruity juice work? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
actually,
Information.
I think I explained this before a few times. Is just the dietary fruit juice helps to detoxify your body naturally, and it does it in a way that allows the different mechanism, especially gastrointestinal function, to work properly, therefore causing an increase in detoxification. It's particularly important for those people who are on a weight management program that want to lose weight. It's important to use the dietary fruit juice together with a healthy diet and regular exercise. So remember, there is no escaping this. You have to eat properly and you have to exercise. And together with these things, you're going to control your blood sugar, you're going to feel better, you're going to have more energy, you're going to have a better lifestyle, better sleep. Effectively, you're going to be a happier person and a healthier person.
Okay, so very good. So everybody just listen and remember all these tips is very important for Dr. Fernando's more than 30 years researching. So give you these tips. Okay, so the other question. Okay. So can I use cold water to mix ISO dietary fruity juice?
Well, personally, I like cold water better. I use it with cold water or ice. Personally, I don't like warm drinks. I don't like, in Asia, I have to get used to the fact that people drink warm water or hot water, right?
Yeah.
And but personally, I like cold drinks. I like icy drinks. So yes, you can use cold water or add some ice, you mix in, and it can give you a better taste. Now, taste is something I particularly love. The taste. I like this type of taste of the ISO dietary fruit juice. Some people might not like the taste or might not be 100% happy with the taste. But if you add cold water or ice, you can tolerate it better, of course. And we're not drinking this for the taste, but we're drinking this for the success, for the benefits, right? So using ice will certainly help you.
Yeah, okay. So this is for your health, your body health. So very important. Cold water also okay. So right. I think you have a lot of questions, but today the time is limited. So no problem. We will pick all the questions to take the record, and then we will also send to Dr. Fernando and our product team later, and they will help to give all the answers, and we will share with our branches. So if you have any question we cannot answer you today, just check with our branches. So, okay. Thank you, Dr. Fernando, for today's sharing and also the answer for all these questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Fernando.
Thank you. Yeah. All the best. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and besides from the ISO dietary fruity juice, Dr. Fernando sharing today, we also have the ISO dietary milkshake. Yeah, this is a good partner with the ISO juice together. So with these two products, it's the Isholution. Yeah, we design it's a golden formula for you who want to get health, who want to start the anti-aging, who want to detox, and who want to boost up your immune system, and also very important, the weight control. Yeah, so just try our Isholution products. Yeah, so it's really good for you and also for your family. We have the 14 days program, maintenance program, and detoxification program. So if you want to know more about this, just check on our beesworld.com website. We have this information which can help you. Okay, so right now, I will share you some more important message. It's about our promotion. Yeah, in this October, it's the anniversary of Beesworld. So we are ready to give you more surprise. So the first surprise is promotion package for Isholution. Okay, so please wait. I will share you right now for the surprise. Okay, So we already prepared the biggest sales of the year. This is the package for the Isholution. So what is it? If you buy 14 days package, okay, means you buy 2 boxes of ISO meal and 2 boxes of ISO juice. You get 2 boxes of ISO juice for free. This is 14-day program and 28 days program. Okay, if you buy 4 boxes of ISO meal and 4 boxes of ISO juice, okay, you get 2 boxes of ISO juice and 1 box of ISO meal. Yeah, amazing. And also we have the 56 days package. If you buy 8 boxes of ISO meal and 8 boxes of ISO juice, you get 2 boxes of ISO meal, 2 boxes of ISO juice, and 2 boxes of alpha meta sachet for free. This is the combo and the package for you and your family to start the Isholution program. Yeah, for anti-aging, for detoxification, for boost up your immune system, and also the weight control, the weight management. Yeah, so this is the first surprise. And now in this anniversary, we will have more surprise for you every week. Okay, so now if you buy 3 boxes of Angel Moon, you will get 1 box of Angel Moon Dynamic for free. Yeah, so this is the biggest sales of the year. Please take this opportunity and to buy and to try our product. Yeah, this is biggest sales of the year. Okay, so this is all the surprise we get ready for you. Yeah, please take this opportunity. If you have question about our product and our packages, no problem. Just visit www.beastworld.com and you can find all the contacts of our branches. And if you have any question, just contact our branches and contact the person who invites you to join today's sharing. Yeah, okay. So thank you so much. And thank you again, Dr. Fernando, for your wonderful sharing tonight. Thank you so much. And please just follow Beast World to know more about our product and know more about the company. Okay, and waiting to see you in our next training and sharing. We will also have more opportunity to invite Dr. Fernando to share you more information based on his research for 30 years. It's about anti-aging and also your body health. Okay, so thank you so much today to join us and take care and goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Goodbye.